Hi, this is Ryan at Vacation Rental Bookkeeping, and today we're going to be looking at how to get your QuickBooks Online account ready to prepare 1099s to be sent out. This video is designed especially for clients of Vacation Rental Bookkeeping, but others may find the information helpful as well. Let's go ahead and jump right into QuickBooks Online and take a look. All right, the first thing you need to do is figure out who you need to give a 1099 to. And so to do that, we're going to first go to Reports. And in the little search box, just type the word vendor. The report we want is Expenses by Vendor Summary. Just click on that. Make sure the dates are showing the year to date. So I'm doing this in December. So I'm looking to see how much I've paid my vendors so far this year. And then probably you want to move this to cash basis. 1099s are figured out on a cash basis. And just rerun the report. Mine didn't change. This will give you a list of anybody that you've paid money to as long as you've entered the vendor name in the transaction when you entered it in QuickBooks. All right, it's helpful to sort this list by total in descending order, because generally you do not need to send a 1099 to anybody that you paid less than $600 to. So you can just quickly look and see who you've paid more than $600 to and decide which of these vendors that you need to send a 1099 to. You may not need to send one to everyone that you paid more than $600 to. For example, I don't need to send one to Department of Revenue. You don't need to send them to places like Walmart or Amazon, large corporations. Generally, it's going to be vendors that you paid more than $600 by cash or check, or maybe an ACH transfer. And there's a lot of specifications on how to decide who to send a 1099 to. That's not the purpose of this video. If you need help with that, you'll need to check with your accountant or tax preparer who would be qualified to help you make that decision. But this list will show you everybody you've paid to, and then you need to decide from this list who you need to send a 1099 to. Once you've decided who you need to send the 1099s to, then we need to get them set up in QuickBooks. So I'm going to go ahead and open a second tab of QuickBooks here. We'll just duplicate this one. And what we're going to do is take a look at what contractors we already have set up in QuickBooks. So you go to Payroll and Contractors. And we can see in my QuickBooks, I don't have any contractors set up yet in this QuickBooks. So if you've already used your QuickBooks in past years, you may already have some in the list here. And if you already have all the ones in the list that you want to send 1099s to, then you have a lot of the work already finished. But in my case, let's say that I want to send one to John, our handyman, and Spot On Cleaners. All right, and they are not showing in my list here. So what I need to do is set up their vendor account. They are in QuickBooks, but they're not specified to be contractors. All right, I don't want to add them here because they're already in my QuickBooks vendor list. I just need to get them on this page. All right, so how we're going to do that? Okay, let's go ahead and open one more tab here so we can go back and forth. So in QuickBooks, we're going to go to Expenses and Vendors. All right, I wanted to send one to John, our handyman. So what this is going to do is give me a list of all my QuickBooks vendors. So I can just search for him. And we'll open up his vendor page, go to Edit. And right here is where you're going to need to fill out the information for this vendor. Okay, you want to make sure that you have his name. If he actually owns a business that he works under, you want to put the company name here. Let's just say that he works by himself. So we'll leave that blank. You will need his address in order to send him a 1099. So let's just put in an address here, 123 Main Street. All right. And then you will need the person's email address if you want to send them an email copy, electronic copy of their 1099. So let's just say johnh@gmail.com. We'll just make up something here. All right, and then the most important thing in order to get John to show up on our contractor list is we need to check this little box right here, track payments for 1099. And then we will also need either his EIN number or his Social Security number. So we are going to go ahead and enter his EIN number. So let's just make up an EIN number for him. And that way he should be all set up. We have his name, address, email is not required, but if you want him to get an electronic copy, it will be required. And then we do have to check this box, and we do need to have his ID, either his EIN or Social Security number. And we'll click Save. Now if we come back to our contractor list, remember that was in Payroll Contractors, and we'll just go ahead and refresh that. So now we've refreshed that page, and here's John listed as a contractor. Okay, I also wanted to send a 1099 to Spot on Cleaners, so we would do the same thing. Go back here to Vendors. We'll search for their vendor page, edit, and let's say I don't have all their information yet. I don't know their email or their address, but I do want to at least check the box here, track for 1099s. Okay, I'll show you how you can come back and add the details later, but we want to at least check the box for everyone that you want to send a 1099 to, even if you don't have all their details. Okay, we'll go back to our contractor list. And now we have the two contractors I'd like to send a 1099 to. All right, once you get to this page and you see all the vendors here that you want to send a 1099 to, we're ready to go on to the next step. Okay, so what we're going to do is click Prepare 1099s. All right, on this page you'll see a lot of frequently asked questions where you can look up a lot of questions you might have about how the 1099s work. In 2020, they've added a new type of 1099 for non-employment compensation, which is a little different than last year. You can read about that. You can see the deadlines and when you have to file with QuickBooks. You can see how much they charge you to e-file for you. So lots of good information there that you can look at. Once you're ready for that, you can go ahead up here and probably yours will say, let's get started. Mine says continue because I've already been in there once. All right, we'll go back to the first page. So it's going to ask you about your company. So you're going to make sure that that information is correct. You're going to put in your company's tax ID, your EIN, and your company's phone number. Make sure all that information is correct and edit it if it's not. Okay, on the next page, you have to check what box you want the information to be reported in your 1099. For most of our clients, it's going to be non-employment compensation. So you would check that box. And then you have to tell it which accounts in your chart of accounts you want to have reported in this box for 1099s. All right, this part can be a little tricky. So if you're not quite sure about it, if you're one of our clients, just let us know. We'll help you with this part. But you may have things like probably in the 5,000 and 6,000 in your chart of accounts. Okay, so like housekeeping expenses, probably one that you want to have. And then especially in your 6,000s, you're going to have contractor expenses. You'll probably have maybe landscaping, legal, all these legal and professional services oftentimes need a 1099. Maintenance men often need a 1099. Okay, it could be photographers, property management expense, repairs. Okay, not salaries and wages, that will be from a payroll. Okay, so you have to go through and choose the accounts where the expenses are that you want to report on your 1099s. Like I said, just let us know if you're one of our clients. We'll help you get that figured out. But at least choose a couple of them here and then go to the next page. If you are a property manager and you need to send 1099s to your property owner clients, generally you need to report gross rent to those clients, and QuickBooks is not able to track that. QuickBooks only knows the net payouts that you've paid to your property owners. And if you would like to report net payouts, you can use this box for rents and choose the appropriate category in the chart of accounts. But you need to consult with your CPA to figure out if you need to report gross or net proceeds to your property owners if you're a property manager. If you want to report gross rents, you will not be able to do that in QuickBooks. Okay, let's go to next. Okay, you'll see a list of the vendors that you're going to be sending a 1099 to, and you'll see that this one is showing us, hey, you forgot to fill in some information for this vendor. Okay, so we need an address, we need the company name, we need the tax ID, we don't have an email. All right, so what you need to do is get that information from the vendor, and you can just request that information. The best way to do that would be using a W-9 form. You can just search for that on Google and send them a 1099 form to give back to you, and they'll have to fill in the all the information that you need right here. And this is a good practice every time you start working with a new contractor to require them to fill this out before they get their first payment. All right, once you get that information back from them, you can just click edit. You can put whether they're an individual or business. That's just really depending if they're using a social security number or an EIN. And then once you pick that, it will allow you to fill in the information that's missing. All right. There's one other option. You can have QuickBooks request the information from the person as long as you know their email. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. So you can either send them a W-9, a physical W-9 to fill out, or you can have QuickBooks electronically request the W-9 information from them. All right, once you get that filled out and you have this corrected where we don't have any more missing information, you can go to next. And it's going to show you, here's who we're going to send 1099s to. This one is still red because it can't be sent yet because we're missing information. This is going to show you how much you paid them last year. And this is how much is going to be reported on the 1099. You can see it matches here. If for some reason the NEC number, that's what's going to be reported on the 1099, is lower than the total payments, there could be a couple reasons for that. One is QuickBooks excludes any time you pay them with a credit card or PayPal because you don't need to send them a 1099 if you pay by credit card or PayPal. You can click this little Y to see why they do that. The other reason it could be lower is because your accounts are not mapped correctly up here in step 2. And again, if that's the case, just let us know and we'll help you fix that. All right, once you have that all finished and there's no more that are showing red, you can go ahead and finish preparing 1099s, and that will take you to the another website where you can e-file, and it will take all this information that you've compiled. It will fill out the 1099s. It will send the copies to the IRS. It will send copies, physical copies in the mail to the vendors, and also send them electronic copies if you have provided an email address for them. So it works pretty nice, and that's how you set it up. I'm going to go ahead and X out of this. Real quick, I wanted to show you if you want QuickBooks to request the W-9 information from the vendor, all you have to do is go to this page. Remember, we're on Payroll and Contractors. Click on the vendor, and then click this little link right here. It says Send Email. And you can see it says the QuickBooks will request the missing details. If you just fill in their email, you can send that. You can click the little preview button, and it will tell you more about what it's going to do, what it's going to send them, And so you can read through that article, give you an idea of how it works. I also found this other article. You can do what in QuickBooks? Collect contractor W-9s, and that has some other good helpful information about how the process works if you want to see what it's going to look like on the contractor's end if you use this feature. Okay, so just a quick recap. First thing, you need to make sure you know who do you want to send the 1099s to. Make sure they're set up as being able to track those vendors in the vendor center. Okay, we did that right here by clicking edit. Make sure we check this little box. And then you can make sure all of those vendors are showing on your contractor list. Then you can go into prepare 1099s and make sure that's set up correctly. Please make sure you've done as much of this as you can before you contact us. But if you're one of our clients and you need help with setting up the accounts part of it, or if the numbers don't seem to be adding up correctly, once you have the list complete and the contact information all in, we can help you with the account setup portion. Hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching.